There was no way I wasn't gonna talk about this movie, so let's. Hola! I finally managed to watch the anime adaptation of Umibe no Étranger, and as you know, I love the Étranger series, so let's see if the adaptation did the manga justice. In case you haven't seen it, I already did a video on the manga, so I won't be talking about the plot here at all. I have some good things and some not so good things to say about the movie, but let's start with the good things first. First of all, the animation is really gorgeous and perfect. In my previous video, I already mentioned that I think sometimes the art looks like watercolor, and I think in the adaptation it's kind of similar. I was surprised that the animation was that good. I thought it would be decent, but it really surprised me. They also did a good job at sticking to the original character design, although I have to say, I still think the manga is cuter, you know? Seeing as how the original is a one-shot, I think an hour is pretty realistic for a movie. Also, the ending song was by Mono no Aware, which was surprising to me. I never thought that they would do that. So it was unexpected but cool. It's a cute song. Like, I listened to it once and it got stuck in my head. That being said, I have some things I'd like to mention that I found a little weird or not so good. First of all, Mio's voice is annoying as fuck. I'm sorry, I really don't want to diss the voice actor, but it's so annoying. When he calls Shun by his name, it sounds so nasal and so noisy. Like, Shun, Shun, Shun. That's obviously very subjective, but I personally didn't think that it suited his character that well. Shun's voice, on the other hand, is spot on in my opinion. By the way, he also voiced another guy called Shun in Shokugeki no Soma. And another thing about Mio, I don't remember him crying that much. Or generally, I didn't remember him to be such a drama queen. But I guess when you can't hear the voices, it seems more subtle. Well, I went back to the manga and I guess he does cry a lot, but I think the movie sometimes overdid it a little bit. For example, in the manga, when they were on the phone in the city when they got separated, Mio was just standing around normally talking on the phone. While in the movie, he was sitting on the floor. It might not be that much of a big deal, but I think like making him sit on the floor makes him seem more defeated. I don't know. Another small scene they changed for some reason was a flashback when Shun was still in high school and crushing on some guy. Like in the manga, he watches him during daytime when he and his friends are outside. And in the movie, they're inside and it's dark. Like, it's not really relevant to the plot or the scene as a whole, but it's just like, why would you change it? It doesn't really make sense to me. And also they added flashbacks with Mio and his mother that I don't really remember reading. Like, I know I'm a pretty forgetful person, but I don't remember reading any such thing in the manga at all. I have to mention at this point, I only revisited the manga for Umibe no Étranger since that's the adaptation, right? So if it's in Harukaze, then I don't know, maybe, because I don't have the whole entire plot in my head. So maybe they added some stuff from Harukaze as well, I don't know. Because if they did that, I think it's not such a great idea, to be honest. That also makes it seem to me that they're not planning on making the sequel, which is unfortunate. Other than that, the movie pretty much sticks to the plot of the one-shot. But I have to say, some of their drama seems a little shallow when it really isn't. The thing is that most of us probably read the sequel as well, so we already know what happened with Sakurako and Shun's family, right? And that can make the movie much more enjoyable to us. But when you think about it, I don't know if the author ever intended for Umibe to have a sequel. If you only take the one shot and the movie, I think it pretty much sticks to it. So it's pretty much an accurate adaptation, right? So if you take only the one shot and the movie, I think it's fair to say that they did a pretty good job at adapting it. They even handled the adult scenes pretty well, I think. They did skip some of the stuff that makes the whole relationship seem more natural as it progresses, you know? But I guess when you only have an hour, you have to, I don't know. The movie could have been 20 minutes longer and wouldn't have hurt it. And by the way, when it comes to the adult scenes, I don't have any troubles at all reading them, but for some reason in an anime adaptation, it makes me really uncomfortable. And I don't know why, because reading it is fine, but it's probably because you can't hear anything, right? So mostly I think it's a good adaptation, but I still prefer the manga, as I do most of the time. And there are times where I think that an anime can be even better than a manga, but most of the time it isn't. Reading is just a more personal experience, and when an adaptation doesn't meet your own personal expectations, it can be kind of sad. On the other hand, if it does meet them, it makes it even better. So that's a very personal thing, I think, and we need to keep this in mind when we judge any creative piece of work, at least in my opinion. So that's my opinion about the movie. If you like the one shot, you'll most likely enjoy the adaptation as well. And if they actually did the whole sequel, that would be dope, but I don't think so, sadly. And by the way, some people were like a little confused about the huge jump in time, and they think you have to read the original one shot to get it, but no guys, the jump happens in the manga as well. Like, you have one chapter and then it just 4 years or 3 years into the future. Yeah, so and when I first read it, I also thought it was kind of weird, but it doesn't matter, it really doesn't, because the story really starts after the 3 years have passed. So the beginning of how they met and such, it's not the focus of the story at all. So if you've never read the manga, I highly recommend reading it and also reading the sequel. You will love that way more than this movie. I almost want to guarantee it. So what does everybody think? Last time we discussed a lot about the manga, so this time I would really love to hear your guys' opinion on the movie. Do you think it's good as a standalone work? Do you think it's only good as an adaptation? And that is all I wanted to share for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye!